How's everyone doing? I wanted to start, 'cause it's 6 o'clock. I wanted to welcome everyone to our regular meeting of the Police Advisory and Accountability Committee meeting on this Wednesday, April 16, 2025. I'll call on Lieutenant Aberle for the roll call, please.
Thank you, Chair Tokolahi. I'll call the roll. Member Alm,
Present.
Member Alvarez,
Present.
Member Kamina. Member Nguyen looks like she's not here. She might be late, so I'll mark absent at this time.
Okay.
Member Ruiz,
Present.
Vice Chair Davidi,
Present.
Chair Tokolahi,
Present.
Alternate Member Locks, and Alternate Member Valdez.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you.
How's our interpretation, folks? We good?
Fingers crossed. Thank you, Chair Tokolahi. Before we begin, we would like to announce that tonight's meeting will include Spanish language simultaneous and consecutive interpretation provided by qualified interpreters on the Spanish channel. If watching on Zoom, you can join the Spanish channel by clicking on the interpretation icon in the Zoom toolbar. It looks like a globe. If you are attending in person and don't have access to the Zoom meeting from your mobile device, please come and see me and I will get you set up with a device so you can listen to the meeting in Spanish. As a reminder, we ask that everyone participating tonight speak slowly to allow our interpreter to effectively express your comments. I now invite the Spanish interpreter on the English channel to interpret that in Spanish. Angelica?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you interpret what I just said in Spanish on this channel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Sí, entonces tenemos interpretación, vamos a tener interpretación consecutiva y simultánea, así que les pedimos que hablen un poco más despacio, ya que los intérpretes siempre están un poco atrás de el orador. Muchas gracias.
Seemed a little bit short, Angelica. Do you have the sheet that is in purple is what you would read?
The sheet that is in purple, was that in the documents that were sent?
Yes.
Okay, give me just 1 second.
Sorry. Sure.
No worries. Okay, so is it the one that says how to participate in the meeting?
I think Andrew will jump on and
Okay,
thank you. Go ahead,
Thank
Andrew,
you.
if you can hear me.
Intérpretes calificados en el canal en español.
I'm
Sí
sorry,
está.
Andrew. I'm sorry, Andrew. Can you start over? I apologize.
Antes de comenzar, nos gustaría anunciar que la reunión de esta noche incluirá interpretación simultánea y consecutiva en español proporcionada por intérpretes calificados en el canal en español. Si está mirando en Zoom, puede unirse al canal en español haciendo clic en el icono de interpretación en la barra de herramientas de Zoom. Aparece como un globo terráqueo. Si asiste en persona y no tiene acceso a la reunión de Zoom desde su dispositivo móvil, venga a verme y le configuraré un dispositivo para que pueda escuchar la reunión. Como recordatorio, les pedimos a todos los participantes de esta noche que hablen lentamente para permitir que nuestros intérpretes expresen sus comentarios de manera efectiva.
Thank you.
If you just tuned in online, just please bear with us while we sort out our interpretation. We have some folks here who need interpret. Yeah. Do they know which channel? Oh, okay. Yeah, it's good.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Ms. Olson. This meeting tonight is being recorded and members of the public,
Esta junta está siendo grabada.
I'm sorry. We're going to switch Andrew back to the Spanish channel. Sorry about that. This meeting tonight is being recorded and members of the public watching online or listening by phone can call 669-444-9171 and use the meeting ID 898-5264-7245 pound symbol. There will be an opportunity for public comment for those participating in person. Each person will have 2 minutes to provide their comments. We invite each of you to introduce yourselves by name before presenting your comments. We also are offering closed caption for this evening's meeting, and I'm seeing that it is at the bottom of your Zoom screen. You can, if you do not see it, you can select the live transcript button to enable this feature. Thank you.
Thank you. Our first item, I want to move things forward. First item on our agenda tonight is to approve our last meeting minutes, which is the one from March 19. But before we get into that, everyone got a copy? Yeah. So at this moment, I'm going to invite committee members to ask questions regarding the minutes. If we have any questions.
Ms. Locke, you have to
Wait.
put your mic.
I thought we put forth a motion to accept the minutes, and then there's a second, and then there's discussion. That was what I thought.
No,
no.
we do, the chair invites the committee to ask questions,
Yeah.
and then we do public comment. And
Before we approve it.
then the chair will bring it back and request a motion and a second.
We'll get to that stage. Well, we'll open with, I'm inviting committee members with questions regarding the last minute. Questions? Regarding the last minute, yes. We all got it, right?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna repeat it again. I'm inviting committee members first to ask questions regarding the last minute from March 19. Do we have any questions? No? Okay, now I'm gonna invite the public. If anybody have comments on the last minute. Comments. I just said comments. Please bear with us. Yes, please.
Hello, everyone. I wanted to just kind of contextualize the meeting minutes. As I look back over the meetings, they're very siloed, and I can't find in the meeting notes any through line for previous items. So I wonder how things are being tracked. And an example of this is Member Alm asked at the last meeting, could you please tell us, the police department liaison and analyst, what we said about ICE cooperation with the police department, cooperation with ICE last time, and their answer was they didn't have any. They didn't have that available. And so as a member of the public, I'm wondering how's that being incorporated and how's that being tracked? I was disappointed that we only have 2 minutes to comment. It seemed like the most important part to the people that voted on it was that it was the same as all the other committees. And there was a comment made that we seem to say enough in those 2 minutes, but we have to cut stuff out to get everything into 2 minutes. I also wanted to bring up that the RIPA report only compared the numbers to the state, which is something that police departments might want to compare themselves to the state, but the community and community members want to be compared to what does our population look like. And we did not say that we did not understand from the report that there were disparities and inequities. We said they were minimized by comparing it to the state of California rather than the city of San Rafael. And Member Kamina said she still understood there was a disparity, and that felt very dismissive because that's not what we were saying. And it felt like she was in alignment with law enforcement and not the residents in the room. I also want to make sure that you all understand that you can make requests for reports. Yay. And I will say the rest of that in another area because I hear my Emmy Award winning Leave the Stage music playing.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You have any other comments? No, I'll take that as a no. I'm going to close public comment. Now I'm going to bring back to the committee. So requesting a motion and a second in approving the minutes from our last meeting.
I'll move to accept the minutes from the last meeting as they're prepared.
Second,
I'll second the motion.
thank you. Lieutenant Abley, can you call?
Yes.
Vote.
Member Alm?
Aye.
Discussion.
We've done the discussions. Yeah. That was the first, let me correct you, please. That was the first question to the committee members for comments and questions.
You said you were asking for something else this time. You said you wanted.
Member Alm, excuse me, Member Locks, your mic is not on, but if you want to take this time to do comments, we could do
I
comments
would
right
like to, I have some comments. I'm sorry if I misunderstood the way that you were doing it. I said.
It's okay, just go ahead. Yeah.
All righty, okay, thank you. All righty, I did give Teresa a call that I would be discussing some changes to the minutes so that the motion would reflect that there needs to be some corrections. Okay, I'll start with page 3. There's a couple of little typos where it says that mid paper, where it says Locks attended the San Rafael City School, that should be schools with an S, San Rafael City Schools with an S board. Above at the top where it says item C, racial profiling and profiling, should read Racial and Identity Profiling Act. Returning to page 2, at the second line, Member Valdez seconded the motion. However, where it says all the ayes, Member Valdez's name is not there. There's a mistake in the listing of the names in the counting.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. Could you just repeat what you said?
Yes. Member Valdez second the motion. Okay. And then when there's a count, Member Valdez's name is not there, but Alvarez is, and Alvarez on the previous page is reported as absent. So the motion, suggested motion should be as amended. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, I'm happy to amend the motion to move the minutes be accepted as corrected by Member Locks.
Thank you.
Thank you for
It's,
pointing that out.
yeah. Yeah.
Then you get your second.
The second,
Member Lux, thanks for catching all those details. I'm sure you do great on your taxes. Just being playful. Yes, I'll second the motion.
thank you.
I will conduct a roll call vote. Member Alm,
Approve.
Member Alvarez,
Approved.
Member Kamina,
Approve.
Member Ruiz,
Approved.
Vice Chair Davidi,
Approve.
Chair Tokolahi,
Approved.
and I should have mentioned in the beginning, since Member Nguyen is not here, Member Valdez, you will be voting tonight. And what is your vote on acceptance of the minutes?
Approve.
Thank you.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna invite the public, comment on any matters not listed on the agenda tonight.
Hello again. I will finish my thought from my other comment that I want to make sure that everyone understands that as a PAC member, you can request a report. So the bylaws say you can direct staff to create reports. And at the last meeting, Member Ruiz said she was interested in a report that would show all the pretextual stops, the mechanical reasons that Latin A residents were being pulled over so that the community could work to correct those mechanical problems so that people won't get pulled over for them. So I hope it's not reflected anywhere in the notes that we received. I know based on what the annual report looked like last year, that every time it says, these members agreed with this item, these members didn't, after we kind of made a fuss about it looking like everyone agreed on things. So I'm hoping that's being tracked. And I do think that when you attend committee meetings all year, you should be able to look back at the notes and see what happened in each meeting and track that to an annual report. So if that is being kept somewhere that's not accountable and not transparent, I hope you on the committee will ask that we see that. I also would like to know, I know 3 members' terms are up in October, and I know the speed at which bureaucracy moves. So I'm wondering when those seats are going to, when it's going to say that the PAC has open positions for the first 3 people that had 2-year terms rather than 4-year terms so that people can start applying. And I would also say, Chair Tokolai, even if you don't like people on the committee, I would request that you treat them with dignity and respect when you're addressing them, because from back in the audience, when you're talking to certain members of the PAC, it doesn't seem that you like them or that you think they deserve dignity and respect. Thank you.
Any other comments? No, thank you.
Chair Tokolahi,
Yes.
will say that we are working on the report that Member Ruiz has suggested, and we plan on bringing that back when we bring back the RIPA.
Right. Okay, so I'm going to close public comments now, if there's no other comments. Moving on to other agenda items, I think item number 2 is our presentation on AB 481.
You get
Good.
myself tonight. Yes, thank
Oh,
you,
so-
Chair.
Yeah,
Lieutenant
thank you.
Lieutenant Eberly will be presenting military equipment, AB 481. Share my screen. Oh, yeah, yeah. I'm going to give it some time so they can get the translation at devices, yes.
Mr. Chair, you want to ask them if they have copies of the agenda or any of the minutes there on the table out front?
Yeah, I just saw it.
You see Heidi providing them for them.
For what?
You see Heidi giving them to them.
We good?
Okay. Once again, thank you, Chair Tokalahi, Vice Chair Davidi, and committee members. I will be presenting our annual community meeting on Assembly Bill 481, otherwise known as military equipment. The agenda for the night, I will talk about some background, how the bill was formed, who signed it, military equipment defined. I will go over our annual report, and I do have in parentheses draft because per the law, we do have to get it approved by City Council after we hold a community meeting. I'll talk about new equipment that we are requesting and open it up at the end for any questions or concerns. Assembly Bill, or AB 481, was authored by member David Chu from San Francisco to address the funding, acquisition, and use of military equipment, also to increase transparency and oversight for the use of any military equipment that such law enforcement uses. On May 2nd, 2022, the San Rafael City Council approved the Military Equipment Policy 706, which was linked in your staff report and in the Military Equipment Report, as well as approved San Rafael Municipal Code 2.52. In March of 2022, we held our first community meeting. It was online. And then April of 2023, we held a second. And then last year, we held our first community meeting during the PAC formal meeting in April. And the link can be found in the transparency portal on the srpd.org website. AB 41 requires numerous things that be presented to the City Council. They include a summary of how the equipment was used, a summary of any complaints, the results of any internal audits, violations of the military, and any actions taken in response. Costs.
Lieutenant, hang on. I
I'm
think
sorry.
we're having some issues with
No what?
Oh, battery. No problem.
Can you guys raise a hand if it's good? Good? Okay, okay. So it's just,
It was there already.
Just her. sorry about that. Sorry about that.
There's a battery on the floor, which is causing confusion.
Oh.
It's not for that.
Oh,
It's just, needs to be there.
There was a 3 on the floor, but she needs I guess a disc.
oh, okay.
It's different. You need a disc. Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's a good problem to have this many demand as we have more community here, so I appreciate that.
You know, there's just one more.
One more, no problem.
Is everybody else's got batteries?
Do you want me to interpret that?
Yeah.
No, no,
Uh-huh.
no,
okay.
no, just, you just need to interpret, Angelica, if somebody speaks Spanish. on
Into
camera,
English.
you'd be interpret it to English.
Okay, no worries.
Thank you. Okay.
And then we have more people walking. Can we take a 2 minutes break while we try and fix this?
Sure.
Yeah. Yeah. We're gonna take a 2 minutes break while we try and fix all these, tech stuff going on. Thank you.
Did you go up front and see if they're? Heidi passed some out, but there may be still more out there. Oh, they're making more.
But next time, I think, next time, I think you should be the next. And then we will be listening to the translation instead of you. I think that would be a good thing. True. Okay.
Are we good to continue? So if your batteries run really low, please quietly come up to the front and she'll give you one of those ones that are still charging. We have a lot more, they're charging, but they're all low. So apologies. Yeah, I think we're good to continue.
Okay, thank you, Chair.
And copies is coming with Angela. Thanks.
I'll just start this slide over. What AB 481 requires in the annual report presented to City Council is a summary of how the equipment was used, a summary of any complaints, the results of any internal audits, violations of the military equipment, and any actions taken in response. Costs associated for each type of military equipment, the quantity or each type of military equipment, and any military equipment the law enforcement agency intends to acquire in the next year. That is all in the spreadsheet that is attached to the military report. We will also post that online. There are 15 different categories for military equipment. I'm going to talk about the categories that we possess equipment in. It's category 1. Right now we have unmanned ground vehicles, otherwise known as robots. Category 2, we have an armored personnel carrier. Category 7, we have a battering ram used on SWAT incidents, emergency, exigency circumstances where you need to get through a door, what a battering ram is used for. Category 10, the specialized firearm and ammunition of less than 50 caliber. That is our patrol rifles that we did talk about last year, purchasing 10 new ones. So that would fall under that category. Category 12, the noise flash diversionary devices, otherwise known as flashbangs. They are the devices that are used when the SWAT team, it's only used by the SWAT team when they make entry somewhere for a distraction so that the suspect could release the hostage. That's the thought behind the diversionary devices. And then category 14, the kinetic energy weapons, the less than lethal munitions that we use, foam rounds that we can deploy. I wanted to share a picture of what our armored personnel carrier looks like. This would be category 2. Ours is not mine resistant. It's just armored personnel carrier. I also wanted to explain or have a chart that explained how long we've had this equipment and where the funding came from. So in category 1, the robot, we've had that since 2010, and it came from our general fund. All of these categories come from monies out of our general fund, except for the shared resource of the armored rescue vehicle that we share with Novato Police Department, which was mostly paid by a state Homeland Security grant and a little bit from our general fund. We were able to acquire that in 2019. The breaching round projectile, the battering ram, we've had it since 2005. Patrol rifles since 2001. They came after Columbine, and they came after an actual shooting that occurred in San Rafael. Diversionary devices out of the general fund in 1995, and the less than lethal kinetic energy rounds, we've had them since 1997. In your military equipment report, there is a far more detailed version. I'm just going to summarize the uses of each of the military equipment that we used this last year. First, I'm going to cover the unmanned aerial vehicles. So the drones, like we talked about last year, and then we had a meeting in November. We still do not have our own drone. So all of these, but since we still used it, we do want to be transparent and tell you that we did use them. These were the Marin County Sheriff's Office drones. I did also document when they were actually utilized, and then when we called for them and they were not utilized. So in January, there was a person with a gun. And in February, there was a search for a man in connection with an assault. Also in February, a search for a man in connection with a residential burglary. Same in February. In March, there was a swatting incident. Just a reminder, swatting is when somebody calls from usually a confidential or masked phone number and calls in like a major emergency. In April, we were looking for suspects in connection with a shooting, but the UAV, the drone was not available. Also in April, to look for an endangered missing elderly man in the Terra Linda neighborhood, the drone was not available. And April 29th to look for suspects in connection with another shooting. We did utilize it then. And then in June to look for a stolen vehicle suspect. The drone was not available. Still in June, we served a search warrant on a known and violent gang member's house. That also was a time where we deployed our armored rescue vehicle. In August, we did another search warrant on an armed burglary. That also we served a search warrant and the armored rescue vehicle was deployed. In September, we requested the drone to search for suspects related to an armed confrontation, but one was not available. And then December to search for a wanted suspect who drove the wrong way on the freeway. The drone was not available. So as I mentioned, the armored rescue vehicle, which would be category 2, was used in those 2 listed items above. And then the only other category that we used this last year was category 14, was the less than lethal impact devices. In June, we used it on a non-compliant suspect involved in a stabbing incident. In November, on a non-compliant suspect who was using drugs and drinking alcohol near a child care facility. And in December, a non-compliant suspect who unlawfully entered a victim's backyard. Complaints, we have had no complaints or violations in the last 2 years. A good question was asked during our break on who conducts the audits, and that is the professional services unit lieutenant, which is me, but it's also the public. So, we advertise every time we use this, and if anybody wants to file a complaint, they can file a complaint. They can file a complaint at the time of the incident. Whoever was there, we received no complaints last year or the year before. Next, I want to talk to you about the future of policing. Drones as first responders. This is a new equipment that we are going to be asking the city council this year for. And first, I want to explain the 2 different deployment methods that a drone can be used for. Drones have been in existence for a while, and law enforcement in existence for at least the last 5 to 10 years. And majority of the time, drones were kept in the trunks of police vehicles, and then the police officer would have to drive to the scene. That officer would have to get out, assemble the drone, put the battery in it, and then lift it or deploy it. As you could tell, that would not reduce any response times. It's going to be the same response time as an officer going to the scene. So there are companies now that are coming out with drones as first responders. A drone as a first responder, staff feels is a great tool. It can autonomously fly to a specific area. There still has to be a pilot, but it will automatically fly to the address that's listed in our CAD. The software through the company that we are looking for integrates with our computer-aided dispatch system. So when the call comes in and comes on the screen that you all saw in the police cars when you're doing your ride-alongs in the MDT, that will connect to the software that can launch the drone. So if a supervisor then feels that it is a priority call that we need to launch the drone and it's going to take us over 2 or 3 minutes to get there, they can launch the drone, watch it on the screen. It will automatically fly to that location, and we will greatly improve response times. That segues into why we are requesting this equipment. It arrives first on scene on majority of all the calls, and this is taken from the company that we are looking at going to, Flock Safety. But I also will provide later in this presentation actual cities that are using this and what their experiences are. Clears calls for service. The drone can be used and is used on incidents where police officers would normally go and they could be called off. So for the example we used in November is a great example of somebody with a gun call, and the drone flew out there first and was able to see that that person did not have a drone. It was a cigarette lighter that looked like a gun, and police officers wouldn't have to respond. There's no need. It's just somebody who's lighting a cigarette. It's just one example. It reduces response times. That's the big win for us. We got a lot of feedback from the community that they want faster response times. And they locate subjects, 89% increase in subjects located for the agencies that use this product. I want to bring it home to the San Rafael Police Department, just so you guys can get a look of what our average response times have been over the years. I think this is very interesting. We try our best, but somewhat, concerning, I would agree with. So a priority 1 call would be an active call of somebody's life in danger. So a physical fight that's going on, somebody's got a gun, that would be priority 1. Priority 1 could be an accident with major injuries. A priority 2 call would be an accident with no injuries. It could be somebody who's intoxicated in the street. A priority 3 call would be what we call, like a cold calls. My car got burglarized last week or last night. There's no exigency. So as you can see, there is a little bit of improvement from 23 to 24 in response times on priority 1, but it's still, the average is 5 minutes and 39 seconds to go to a priority 1 call. Real-time examples. Alhambra PD uses the same flock system that we're looking at. They've reduced their response times by 84%. Redondo Beach reduced their response times by 62%. Elk Grove, probably one of the closest agencies that has been doing it the longest, reduced it by 77%. Chula Vista does not use the same system that we do, but they report arriving to calls in 1 minute and 33 seconds on average faster. Or no, excuse me, 1 minute and 33 seconds, period. And the Santa Clara Sheriff's Office reports getting to 72% of calls in under 2 minutes. That's a drastic improvement from 5 minutes. If we can reduce that time by 70%, that would be a win. This company, the drone that we're looking at, flies 53 miles an hour. It is wind dependent. It will fly in the wind. It will fly in pretty violent wind, but obviously if there's very, very strong wind, that might reduce the time. And it can get to a location 2 miles away in 2 minutes and 16 seconds. So 2 miles away is farther than Home Depot from here. And as anybody's tried to drive from here to Home Depot on a Tuesday afternoon, you're not getting there in 2 minutes. They fly longer, 42 minutes in the air. So the battery life is great. And then there's an average of 25 minutes on scene time before it comes back. I do want to emphasize something I almost forgot, is that this particular system, this drone as first responder system, lives in a docking system that is yet to be chosen. It might be on top of the police department. It might be on top of the fire department. But it will deploy from there, somewhere central in San Rafael. When the battery life gets low, the operator will just press a button to return back. It will return back automatically and swap out the battery itself in under 2 minutes and can be back up and flying. That was another major selling point for us. So this system that we're looking at has a 4-mile radius. It's a little deceiving because, as you can see on the map, it goes way up past St. Vincent's and down to Corte Madera. No, we will not fly this drone from the docking point where we choose to Corte Madera because our battery life. It does on major emergencies. If Corte Madera or Larkspur, and I'll talk about it later, have a major emergency, someone can go remove that drone and bring it down there if the supervisor approves it. Another fascinating part of the DFR, drone as first responder systems, is what's called an ADS. It's an automatic dependent surveillance broadcast. In other words, it's kind of like a radar. Since San Rafael is situated within 30 miles of a major airport, the FAA mandates everything flying that is occupied needs to be broadcasting. And the FAA has radar so they can see everything that's broadcasting and not. So for example, if a personal plane took off from the airport in Lucas Valley and was not broadcasting, they would immediately get talked to by the FAA on the radio, say that you need to start broadcasting. So our system comes with an ADS. It will show us where the drone is and relationship to anything flying in the sky. And what is great about this system is that anything that comes within 1 mile of the drone, the operator's controller will start beeping very loud. If anything flying comes within a half a mile of the drone will automatically start descending. The pilot will take over and safely land it. What you can't see, and I apologize, is on the ADS, but the operator will be able to see it. All of the little airplanes, here's an airplane. I don't know if my pointer's working. And the helicopters above it has their altitude. The drone flies at a 200 feet ceiling. Planes don't fly at 200 feet. If there's a plane that's flying at 200 feet, we probably have another issue. They fly at thousands of feet, and helicopters also do not fly at 200 feet. But if a helicopter would, we would be able to see it, and the drone would respond as a safety measure. Also, it enhances situational awareness. As you can see, the top photo is what our drone would look like at nighttime, and the bottom would be without night vision. So even during night, officers will be able to search for subjects more clearly. Other service enhancements. So major collisions, I talked about that. I want to just touch on, as you all know, when there is a major traffic collision, everybody drives what we call code 3 with lights and sirens. If we could get a drone out there before an officer, before a firefighter, before an EMS worker, a first responder that are, they're driving safely, but they're running red lights, they're driving through traffic, accidents do happen. If a drone can get there, determine that people are up walking around, that there doesn't need to be a need for somebody driving so fast to the scene, we would broadcast that. Everybody slow down, obey the traffic rules. We don't need to drive code 3. Major disasters and flooding, search and rescue operations. My partner today actually reminded me that we probably get about a dozen distressed boaters or paddleboarders every year out in our bay. Part of that bay is our jurisdiction. We do have, as you all know, a Marine unit, and that drone is going to be much more efficient and effective to go out there and look and to find these distressed paddleboarders and provide a sense of comfort to these paddleboarders that someone is coming. There's somebody there, we're watching you, we could see, we can either speed it up, we can also relay that to the boat that is responding on what the precise location is. The drone at their dashboard, we'll call it their dashboard that the operator is looking at, can drop a pin and it will show the precise location GPS coordinates that we can relay out. And that goes for somebody out in the hills. We have many hills in open space in San Rafael, so we can use it for there too. Firework complaints. For those of you that lived through the recent firework complaints, we know that that is a very dangerous predicament. We can use the drones to help fight the fireworks. In progress crimes, post-incident crime scene preservation. So when there is a major accident that needs to be documented or a major crime scene, we can have the drone fly up, take photos that will be better evidence. Hazardous material evaluations, obviously search warrants and SWAT callouts. Explosive devices, we're able to zoom in on whatever that device is. We could send the picture straight to the bomb squad. They'd be able to, evaluate it and deploy the resources that need to deploy without risking anybody getting close to that device. It could be used as a training aid, just like any other video that people watch, and we can critique our own what we did. What can we do better? We're always looking at improving, or what we did good. We can use it for briefing room training. Mutual aid, which I talked about. And emergency communications, it does have a built-in speaker. So in such situations as a hostage or a barricaded subject, the drone can fly close enough to provide direction if need be. UAV or drone concerns. I want to take a moment and recognize the community, the committee members that all spoke up in November. I recognize your concerns. I hear your concerns. I agree with your concerns. We reviewed the last PAC meeting. We re-listened to the community concerns that were raised in November, and we aim to address them here tonight, along with any other possible concerns. But we've also received a lot of support for drones, and I do want to mention that as well. Not only from the PAC committee members, but also from the broader community. Recently, we re-engaged with several community stakeholders, which I would like to thank tonight. I see in the audience. And the message was clear. People want faster response times. They want to feel safer. They want more police. And we believe that drones as first responders can effectively meet those expectations. Also in your packet, I do a link an ACLU article because I think it's very relevant. I agree with a lot of what the ACLU says in that article. But they also acknowledge that, and I will address it, but I also want to say that the ACLU acknowledges that drones can serve as a valuable tool for law enforcement in purposes of emergencies, specific investigations where there are clear, justifiable reasons for their use. Also in your packet, we have a policy. And the policy, it does outline the use. It's for life or property. It's not for random surveillance. It's not for routine surveillance. We actually address that in our policy. The ACLU does not oppose drones for tasks like crime and accident scene documentation. And they do, like I said, strongly oppose the use of drones for routine and suspicionless or mass surveillance, which we agree with. We don't want to use it for those purposes. The first bullet point that I have on here is surveillance. I touched on it a little bit, but I will re-emphasize it. We will not use the drone for random surveillance. We will not use the drone to target people, harass, intimidate, or discriminate against any individual group. And we will not conduct any personal business of any type, and the drone will not be weaponized. Privacy concerns. I agree, and I hear the privacy concerns. We've heard the community, and we understand. We recognize that drones, just like helicopters and airplanes, may fly over backyards or areas that people consider private. I 100% hear that. To address some of that, I'd like to alleviate some of the things that we will do that might be different from other agencies to alleviate these concerns. We will ensure that the drone's camera will be angled horizontally when flying. So it will not be facing down and recording everything as it going to that location. Once it gets to that target spot, which the target spot will be the same spot that an officer would go to, that's when it will be pointed downward. Our policy specifically states that an operator shall take reasonable precautions to avoid areas where there is reasonable expectation of privacy. Additionally, drones will only be deployed in responses to calls for service that would also warrant a police officer's presence for the purpose of documenting a crime scene. It will not targeting people. I talked about that, but I do want to reemphasize that. We will not use the drones to target anyone based on race, gender, or any other actual or perceived characteristic. Data sharing. Data sharing was not mentioned at the last meeting, but it is always a concern. It's a concern of mine. I made sure when I was talking with this company that the data, the recorded footage, cannot and will not be shared with anybody. So that third-party company does not have access to our footage. The only time we would share it is we would share it if it met a FOIA request or it was evidence of a crime, or like we share any other evidence as we talked about in our previous policies. We do not and will not share any data with ICE or federal immigration law enforcement. Per our policy, it's written in our policy, we will not share this drone footage. And the data is stored on an AWS secured system for 30 days, and then it is deleted, forever deleted. In those 30 days, if we determine that it is of evidentiary value, then we can download it into our evidence system, the same system where we keep our body-worn camera footage. Facial recognition, that did not come up at the last meeting, but I want to touch on it because it's important. The drone does not have or utilize any facial recognition software. It does not. Costs, it is expensive. And you saw it in your report. It is $150,000 a year. But I don't know, I ask, how can we put a price on safety? How can we put a price on reducing response time so drastically? Meeting the demands that we've heard from the community. Up to 80%. So staff recognizes the value of the drones as a first responder, but I do acknowledge that it is expensive. And transparency. What we also like best about this company is the transparency that it will provide. Here is an example of the transparency portal, that Elk Grove has, that we will mirror. And I apologize, you can't see the fine print, so I will read it. There will be 2 tabs at the top. One will say overview and one will say flights. This is the overview tab. So for Elk Grove, since they've had it, they've responded to, and they've had it for over a year, they've responded to 1,180 calls. They've had a 77% reduction in response times. They've found 181 subjects, whether that's an outstanding suspect or a missing person. It doesn't clarify. The average response time is 139 seconds. So it's just over 2 minutes. And I really found this interesting. They cleared 209 calls without police response. And that's great, I think. If the police don't need to go and we can free them up to do other productive things, then let's not have them go. Elk Grove in this last year had 209 calls that they didn't have to respond to. And 70% of the time, the drone was first on scene. The next tab is the flight tab. So I love this about transparency. Every flight is recorded and it can be independently audited, internally audited. And I apologize, I will read the small print, but this is just on the 10th of April, 2025, Elk Grove posted, they went to, the first one in the top left is a disturbance call. The one next to that was a domestic dispute. The bottom left, I just deferred. It said there's 2 vandalism calls. One, it says in progress, and one that just occurred. So I'm assuming the same suspect in that vandalism because it's so close. And then the last one is reckless driving, which could be like a drag racing or it could be a sideshow. It does not have the exact location for privacy reasons because we are going to publish this on our transparency portal. So we don't want to put exact addresses of the particular disturbance, but it will give you an idea. Just like here in Elk Grove, I don't know where Laguna is, and that's what it says on the map, or Camden, but we will have similar neighborhoods that will show where it is. Video. I know you guys all want to see it. So last Thursday, 2 Thursdays ago, Flock came out and did what they call a fly day. And so we were able to demo it in person. Pardon the quick interruption. I need to get to the video. And this is a time where it was up for over 14 minutes. So I'm not going to make you watch all 14 minutes. I'm going to talk over it a little bit. On the dashboard, on the operator's dashboard, what you would see here is a street overlay with an address overlay. So we don't publish, we wouldn't make that public. It's just for the pilot to see and to be better aware of where they're flying to. So if they were to say, 352nd 4th Street, a number would come up here. This is 4th Street right here, a little 352 with all the other addresses as well. And 4th Street would be overlaid in this street. So let me play the video. This is a response to a fire call. So fire got a call for service where there was a fire at 777 Grand, and we decided to help them out. So this is flying from our police department, and this takes about 40 seconds to get to 777 Grand. While the pilot is en route, and this is hopefully will alleviate some privacy concerns, the Zoom feature can be enabled right now. So we know that 777 Grand, I don't see my arrow, is right here. You could start to see the fire trucks. The pilot could start zooming all the way back when they were right above our location and not worry about any of the other areas and bypass it. So there you can see the fire trucks. Excuse me. This is thermal imaging, which is really cool. The camera has thermal imaging, so it detects the heat. So, and it goes through a couple other thermal imaging aspects. I'll let it go through a little bit of the video so you can see some of the zoom capabilities. I have another portion of this video. We go to a different incident that will show even a better zoom. But we were able to live time call, get on the radio and talk to the battalion chief and say, we got thermal imaging up and we don't see any hotspots in the building. And it did turn out to be a false alarm. So here's some of the Zoom capabilities. There's some firefighters. You can see the firefighter there on the second floor, firefighter on the roof. They'll zoom in a little bit. Looks like he's got a generator. Some of the capabilities of the zoom that the camera has. And then it can immediately zoom out. So he presses a button and it zooms back to where it's regularly, the drone is positioned, this is about 400 feet up. And there's another thermal imaging. So this is even more illustrates the hotspot. So you can see all the trunks of the vehicles, some vehicles that were there in the sun for a while, got a little hotter than others, but we saw no hotspots on that building, on that roof. And we were able to relay that information. So that morning, unfortunately, there was an arson that occurred at the yacht harbor. Oops. So I'll pause it for a second. So this was an arson. So we flew over to the arson. It would have been great if if we had the drones live, because we got the arson as it was going on and we could have deployed a drone right out there. It's an investigation still ongoing, so I can't release too much of the details, but I play it here because I want you to see some more of the drone capabilities. So this is where the boat was set on fire underneath this tent. And then this is Detective Allenschlager talking to one of the employees on scene. She has her body-worn camera on as well, but I want to show you the zoom, which will be here in a second. So again, this is like 400 feet up. And I wanted to specifically zoom in on her hand because we are going to want to know if people are holding weapons. And so if that person was holding a weapon, we would be able to see. And then maybe I'll just fast forward it to just flying back to base here. So that concludes my presentation. I want to open it up to any questions that you might have.
Thank you.
Chair, before we open up to questions, can I toggle the interpreters, please?
Yes,
Thank you.
please.
We're good. Thank you.
Thank you. We good? Okay. Thank you, Lieutenant Eberly. I want to come back to the committee members for questions regarding the presentation. Anybody?
Chair, I'll go ahead and open up.
Yeah.
Uh,
Please.
Thank you for that presentation. It was very informative. It dawned on me, and I wish I asked this in my previous questions. In the report, that we're mostly last year using Marin County Sheriff's Office. What drone are they using?
They don't have a drone as a first responder, so they're using that model of just a drone in the trunk. So they need to respond out to the scene. So it's a great question. And just to clarify one bit further, the average response time for the sheriff's department drone was 30 minutes.
Yeah, I wanted to note that it's terrible. It was either unavailable or like I'm seeing 20 minutes,
Yeah.
30 minutes. Like that was concerning. Like,
Yeah.
why bother?
Right. Right.
But we are always glad to have allied agency support.
Very true.
Certainly. Do we have a deployed date set?
Well, we go to council, hopefully in June. There'll be some infrastructure a little bit. I can't, say, I know on average might be 6 to 8 weeks out after final deployment, but we also have a lot of other considerations because we do want to get our people trained, is the main thing to know how to use it. So, I don't have an exact
Good.
date.
I just want to note that policy 606 is still in draft status. And within that draft, there is a lot of protocol that is unwritten. Will that be all in place prior to implementation?
Yeah, I think it'll be spelled out a lot better. A lot of that protocol is covered automatically, the documenting, when you're going to deploy it, the protocols for all that. Yes, we'll have something written in probably in a policy. Yes, it's going to say a directive or a policy. Yeah.
And my last question, so I'm an aviation geek. I have a membership to Flight Radar 24. So I do know about ADSB. Will our DFR have a masked ADSB that is not open to the public?
Our drone will not be public. Is that your question?
So would I be able to follow up
No.
on public radar?
Nope, you will not be able to follow all drone, but right after there's a deployment, it goes into a screen automatically where the pilot has to fill out those pieces of information that I talked about, and then it gets posted to the transparency portal.
Thank you.
And the reason why I feel I should explain why, because we're only going to be deploying it in emergencies. So we want to respect people's privacies in emergencies.
Cool. Thank you. I'm going to keep going to my right, see if you guys have any other questions.
I have one question. How many people will be trained for these drones? And like, what will that training be like? Will it be like a day or will it be like, I just want to know how it works.
That's a really good question. If it was up to me, I would want everybody trained. So we are developing a protocol on trying to get at least 1 or 2 people per shift. And remember, we have 4 shifts, 2 days and 2 nights, trained at first, like maybe a phase 1. And then we'd love to get as many people trained on this as possible. And the training to learn how to use the hardware on this particular drone system does take a day. And then there is a separate training to get a license. It's called a Part 107 license. It's the best way I can describe it. It's like a DMV test. Everybody's taking a driver's test. So you study for it and you go take it. It's regulated by the FAA. It's not regulated by any third-party company. We have to go to an FAA office and take it and hopefully pass it.
And we'll finish off to our right. Do it.
Thank you for your presentation. And my question is, you mentioned like in case of disasters, so the fire department can use the drone if they need it?
Absolutely. If there's an emergency and there's a fire, yes, we would absolutely use it.
My other question is, for example, you said they has like a speaker building, but can you hear what the people on the scene are talking or no?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, you can hear what they're saying as well. So you can communicate back and forth. Yes.
Okay, thank you.
I have a question following her first question.
Sure.
Does the fire department also have the same policies as the ones that you guys will be using, or will it be different?
Well, we will control it. So they don't have pilots to fly our drone. So it's going to be, our supervisor would still have to authorize it. Our pilots would still have to follow our protocol and our policies.
Dude, you guys good? I'm going to follow up before I go to my left. I'm going to follow up with the questions. So right now, the San Rafael Fire Department, they don't have one. Just, it might be out of the box, but there's a reason why I'm asking the questions.
I believe the fire department does have a drone. They don't have a drone as a first responder. They have drone technology that they could deploy.
The one that goes into
at
the
scene.
fire.
Yeah, if needed.
Okay.
it doesn't go into the fire. They would have to come back to the office, pick it up and drive it out to the scene of the fire. It doesn't automatically fly like the drone as the
Right.
first responder does.
Okay. And the one that you guys are using now is like you just borrow from Novato,
We borrow
If-
from the sheriff's department
from the sheriff department.
or Novato. We've used Novatos on SWAT callouts. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And now I'm gonna go to my left. We'll start with Davidi.
Question. I know we can do the ride-alongs with the police officers. It may sound crazy. Can we like be present next to the person who's handling this thing just to check out, see how does this whole thing works once when it's up and running? So it'd be like a, drone ride-along?
I think it would be the luck of the draw. It depends on who our certified pilots are and who is going to deploy the vehicle. As Lieutenant Everly mentioned, this could be operated from a vehicle's mobile terminal. There is an iPad or a tablet interface that they will be releasing as well. So if you are on a ride along and we have a drone deployment, if you're with that officer, it's super lucky you could check it out. If not, we could do everything we can to get you near the drone officer.
Okay.
It's just a matter of like who's deployed where on a
Put me on
response.
call on that day. I like those.
Drones.
Yes. Next thing is, I have more comments I'll save for later. The name military equipment used, I know it's an assembly bill, so it's not created by this San Rafael Police Department, the name military equipment. This is something that it's been handed down to us, correct?
I was actually going to make those comments at the beginning of the presentation, but Lieutenant Eberly thought I should probably not talk so much this week. So
Oh, man.
the military equipment, Assembly Bill 481 defines equipment under this umbrella of military equipment. We're not talking about 1033 or surplus military equipment. It's very different. It's just the Assembly Bill was referenced as military equipment. What's missing, I think, from that, for the best way to describe it, is like military style equipment, right? So when we talk about things like patrol rifles, when we talk about things like an armored rescue vehicle, those just meet the definitions as outlined in the legislation.
Yes.
But I wouldn't call, my personal perspective, I would not call our armored rescue vehicle military equipment. We use it for an emergency rescue. We use it to get a crisis negotiator closer to a target location to engage in negotiations with an individual identified at a critical incident. So the Assembly Bill itself just describes it as quote unquote military equipment, but it's not necessarily surplus equipment from the military or anything like that. It's just outlined in the legislation.
Thank you for the clarification.
Yeah, we'll just keep going to.
Oh, thanks. Thank you, Lieutenant Everly. It was a very good presentation. I actually, when I was reading earlier, I was writing down questions, but by the time I got to the end, you'd answered all the questions that I had. So thank you. It made it a lot easier. But from what you've said just now, something occurred to me. And I don't know if you have this information on hand, but how much does it cost to have a patrol officer in a car for a shift? Do we know? I mean, it used to be.
Yeah, I don't have the number like for what an hourly rate is to have.
No, but I mean, like, for how much does a peace officer make a year?
I think
have no
with,
idea.
I'm going to be guessing. So I'd like to follow up and get you that information accurately. If I were to take a stab, and I'm looking across the dais here at the assistant city manager, maybe, with benefits, with, vehicle utilization, equipment, uniforms, it's probably between $250,000 and $300,000 a year for police officer.
So and thank you. And I realize it's just a guesstimate, but I was in my mind comparing what would be the cost of sending a drone versus sending an officer. And it seems to be, well, that's for comments later, but it seems to be cost efficient. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Questions?
¿En el dron van a poder hablar en español para poder usarlo?
Will they be able to speak in Spanish with the use of this drone?
If the operator speaks Spanish, absolutely. So in any major incident, like a SWAT incident, and I can only really think of using the drones in a situation where there is like a missing person or a hostage situation, we need to utilize Spanish. Right now, with all the Spanish speakers that San Rafael has, I could just about guarantee that there will be a Spanish speaker that can, if they're not the operator, can go to the drone operator and speak in Spanish. Yes. Potentially any other language. Thank you, Member Locks. Yes.
Mi otra pregunta es, me perdí un poquito, ¿hasta qué distancia puede llegar? Comentó que creo que no puede llegar hasta Corte Madera, ¿o sí?
I,
La-
disculpe. I'm sorry, I lost a little bit of the information during the presentation. Did you say that the distance that this drone could cover is about as far as like to even like Corte Madera?
So technically it can go, but we will not fly it from our drone base to Corte Madera because of the battery life. Probably by the time it got back to Corte Madera, and I mean, there's going to be something going on and there wouldn't be enough time to hover over the location and then fly back. So the way that we are going to set up our drone as first responder system is in strategic locations within our city that we can get to every area within our city faster than a police car on average.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Presentation was great. The materials were excellent. I had a couple of little questions. It mentions the data handling, and you, maybe it's just semantics. You said no other third-party company has access to the SRPD recorded data. Does that include other agencies? When you say company, I'm not sure if that means agencies,
Yeah,
such as, other policing or FBI,
Yeah,
other.
great question.
Police, agencies. Yes.
Great question. And I will make it more clear.
Page
Yes.
12, yes.
It, yes, I know. It will not. Nope. It's our footage. We have it. Nobody else can access it. Law enforcement agency, any other company, private or government.
Yes. And then policy 606, is this policy going to be amended, or is there going to be a newly written policy because it's the first, first responder?
We-
The system is
Mhm.
different, it's like a different system.
We plan on using this as the outline, the majority of the policy. So to answer your question, yeah, we could amend it
Amend
if
it,
you
yeah,
if you had
okay.
some recommendations today as well.
Not
We
today.
would consider those and
Okay, I just wonder
possibly add.
how you're handling the policy.
Yeah,
and
be
going
amended.
forward, and what you would be presenting as part of your recommendations. Now, the salary, or which is, this vehicle or this system is being leased. So is it just one, is it just one drone, or do we have a fleet of drones? What is it?
So our original, if approved by the council,
Yes.
we intend to deploy a 2-drone system. And it's mostly based on geographical or topographical constraints. We have this big mountain between the public safety center and the north end of town. An absent antenna infrastructure on the tower up there, it creates operational challenges. So we would likely deploy a drone in the north end, probably in Terra Linda somewhere on a fire station roof. And then we would locate the primary base or nest on the public safety center or a similar building in the downtown.
Okay. And so it's 150,000 per year for the
For the same,
system,
yeah.
or for each one?
the $150,000 is the main nested home base system that would be on the roof of the police department.
Okay.
And what comes with that is all the software, all the setup.
Yeah.
They would get, Member Alm probably knows what a COA is a certificate of approval. to fly the drone without a visual observer. A lot of, from the FAA, they would help set it all up. They would come do the training. And if I didn't mention, I think I did the integration with our
Yeah.
computer aided dispatch system. That's all included. And the reason for the lease is that if it malfunctions on its own, they will come and replace it. Every 2 years in the contract, we will get a new drone.
Saw that.
Yeah.
And I think you were clear in answering all of the other questions. Basically, it's a different kind of system, it seems, because if one is going to be 5 minutes and the other was 30 minutes, I mean, it must be is it different technology? What is it?
So go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah.
I was going to say, so the 5 minutes has to do with patrol officers, what we have now, the 5 minute, 39-second response time. That's how we deploy now, not drones. It's
Oh,
what at the time it takes a police officer driving a police vehicle to get to the scene. And on average, it's 5 minutes and 40 seconds.
Yeah.
With a drone, we will now, the thought is, and what we've seen in the Fly Day example day, is that could cut that time upwards of 70 to 80%. So we would be able to get there faster. An officer wouldn't be on the ground, but would be able to see what's going on
Yes.
and
yes.
communicate that to the other officers on the scene.
What I'm missing is how was one 30 minutes and this one will be
Yeah, that's
2 minutes?
That's the example of when we request allied agency support and the sheriff comes to help us out. And it's a 30-minute delay for them to arrive on scene. And then they launch the drone. This
Oh.
particular system will always be charged and ready to launch on the roof.
I got
It's
it.
very different than
Okay,
what we've
yeah.
been doing.
I got it now. Okay, and my last is, which I'll be giving more information in my report, is that on April the 5th, a young person at the rally that I was at pointed out that there were drones flying over. Were those our police department using Novato drones? We don't know what those drones, and I saw helicopters as well, at least, helicopters twice and drones twice.
I don't have any information on the helicopters. Might have been the news coverage.
I thought the news for helicopters, yeah.
The protest operation was managed by the sheriff in their jurisdiction at the Civic Center. We did support that based on a mutual aid request, but we don't have drones. So if the drones were up, it was probably the sheriff's office, or it could have been a private drone operator trying to capture what was going on, which
There's
happens
always-
as well.
There is always that, yeah, but
Yeah.
I thought, oh, they're here. When I saw it. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. I just have one more question before we go into public comments. When you mention the cities, I'm worried, like, how do you guys deal with sending the drone outside of the San Rafael city?
Well, the drone as a first responder is meant for San Rafael. So when I said that on the very rare circumstances that there is some major natural disaster, or something that is in the law enforcement world called like all hands on deck and everybody's responding, very rare, but you are able to just physically take the drone off of the docking station and deploy it. But that would have to be strategic, because once that drone leaves our city, then it's not available for us.
Right. Okay.
Mr. Chair, were you referring to other places in the county or?
In the county, yeah.
Okay, because my question is, will you be doing the unincorporated areas of San Rafael? Like Santa Venetia or,
Is
is that?
I don't know if it would go to Santa Venetia because there's another mountain range over there. So I don't know if we'd have
Okay. So
the
you mean really
capabilities.
just
We-
San Rafael?
Yeah,
Yeah.
And to my understanding too, like unincorporated area is the sheriff, right?
correct.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. If we
Okay.
don't have any questions, I'm gonna call on the public comments regarding the presentation.
Hi there. I want to stay in my 2 minutes, so I'm just going to start with my questions and then end with my words. My first question is, where have military-grade police weapons been deployed within the city of San Rafael over the past 5 years? Which streets and neighborhoods have seen the most frequent deployment? What are the racial, economic, and housing demographics of the communities most affected in those deployments? Have you, the PAC, received the report and reviewed that? Were any community impact assessments or after-action reviews conducted? And if so, will those be made public? Since facial recognition software is not attached to this drone, what is the drone's known accuracy rate across different racial and gender identities? What legal standards, public policies, or local and/or state ordinances govern the use of this technology? Will you be developing some? How will PAC be involved in that? Have you had any independent bias audit conducted on this piece of equipment and its software? If so, will that be made to the public? If not, why not? What community oversight exists over the acquisition and use of these surveillance tools? Is there a public opt-out or red dress process for individuals misidentified by facial recognition, should that come later on? How are impacted communities being meaningfully involved in technology policy decisions before this is deployed? And are there any reparative measures planned for neighborhoods disproportionately subjected to militarized policing or its surveillance? Thank you.
Thank you. I know these questions, these are really good questions, and thank you. They're recorded. Is it, because I want to make sure that we'll do our best to answer all those questions if possible. Can I just ask you, like, is there a way you can send it to the staff, the questions, and we'll reach out to you, like, because we want to make sure that we answer those questions. Thank you. Any other comments?
Hello again. I want to remind us about the issues with police culture that led to creating the PAC. And that when departments use military equipment, those most impacted are Black, brown, poor, and people with disabilities. Departments with military grade equipment are more likely to use violence. Their SWAT deployments disproportionately impact Black and Latino households. Drones can easily be misused for surveillance to exploit and discriminate against people, putting all of our privacy at risk. I ask you to please request that SRPD include RIPA data when they give you a report of military equipment. We saw with pretextual stops that people of color are more likely to be pulled over. So we could make the assumption that drones are more likely to be deployed for people of color also. Please pay really close attention to the reasons they're using the military equipment and ask yourselves, are they highlighting their protection or the community's protection? Because both of these things are really important. I felt like the drones as first responders was a bit of a sales pitch with 3 pages of benefits and a much shorter analysis of what the risks could be or the limits. I am concerned about it. I do understand that the community wants faster response times, and I think we have to look at that in the context of all of the things that might come up for those responses and how bias is already embedded in there. There was definitely a confirmation bias in the data that was presented to us around how good it is. And not so much, we didn't hear about any departments that had complaints about drones as first responders or things that had gone wrong. We mostly heard what had gone right and why this was an excellent decision for San Rafael. So I ask that you all ask for a report, a more holistic report on what could go wrong before you make such an important decision for our community. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any other comments? And while she's keep coming, I'll give you 2 minutes, don't worry about it. Can the interpreter also notify our Spanish speakers, you know, if to feel comfortable to come, if you're not? Yeah, please, because I want them to come up if they want to say something. There you go. Thank you. Yeah, you can say it in Spanish too, and we have someone to interpret that. Please. Yeah. Yes,
Was the interpreter ready? Because I'm going to speak Spanish.
I think so.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Muchas gracias y es un placer para mí conocerlos a todos ustedes. Gracias. Hemos estado en lucha en la comunidad para mantener más seguridad en la comunidad. Yo sé que muchos tal vez no van a estar de acuerdo en que traigan drones a la comunidad, pero tienes que haber sido haber visto lo que pasa en nuestra comunidad a veces, haber visto que la policía a veces no llega a tiempo cuando los necesitamos y haber visto cómo los criminales se corren después que la policía ya ha llegado. Nosotros por muchos años hemos estado abogando para seguridad en nuestra comunidad y yo creo que estos drones van a hacer la diferencia. Quiero que el condado de Marín está en ese reporte que está Chula Vista, que está San Leandro, que está en Elk Grove, que estén allí también pendientes y que el servicio sea equitativo. O sea que yo sé que está para San Rafael. Estoy aquí abogando para que de verdad estén presentes en la comunidad de Canal, que es donde tenemos muchas situaciones a veces y por la falta de tener suficiente personal la policía a veces no llegan a tiempo. Lo otro que quería sugerir es de que me gusta la idea que sean 2 drones y y espero que los concejales aprueben esto y que si le van a estar prestando los drones al Fire Department, que ellos también paguen la mitad de los 150,000, ¿no? 150,000 es al año. Y que de verdad esos comunicadores que van a tener, que sí hablen español, especialmente en mi comunidad, porque va a ser una lástima si el drone va y está hablando solo inglés y muy tarde se da cuenta de que las personas que necesitan ayuda o inclusive los criminales hablan español. Y espero que esto ustedes lo consideren y lo aprueben porque somos una comunidad que sí necesita esta clase de seguridad. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
If you can go ahead and translate that now into English, thank you.
It's a pleasure to be here tonight, and it's a pleasure to meet all of you. For a while now, people in my community, including myself, have been very much working to have more security in our community. There are several instances where the police hasn't gotten in time to help members of the community for different reasons and victims of crime. And by the time they do get there, the criminals have already left. To me, and I know that a lot of people might not be in agreement and might not like it, but I do think that drones could possibly make a difference in helping respond more quickly to calls to make the community a safer place. I think if this is going to get passed, I think that it should be done in a way so that the benefit of drones is equitable for everybody. People, the community of the canal, suffer a lot from situations of being in need of protection and security. So I do like the idea of 2 drones being looked to get 2 different drones so that they can be used. I also think that if the San Rafael Police Department is going to allow the fire department to use these drones and help them on occasion, then maybe the fire department should also be responsible for paying for half of the cost of what it would take to have these drones, because 150,000 a year is a lot of money. So I also want to say that I think, yes, it's important, and I very much hope that some of these operators are Spanish speaking, because a lot of times the people in need, and maybe even the criminals, might not be English and English speaking, and so it wouldn't be of really any benefit to anybody if there wasn't somebody who could speak Spanish or speak another language as well. Our people in the community need help. We want more security in our community. So I do ask you all to keep this in mind and do what you need and what you can do to provide a safer community for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Mi nombre es Cris Parra. Yo vivo en la comunidad de Canal y vengo representando a parte de mi comunidad, pero ahorita quiero hablar por mí misma, ¿no? Pienso que el dron sería muy, muy importante para nuestra comunidad, y solamente aquellos que hemos tenido las experiencias de no tener una respuesta rápida de la policía, solamente aquellos que hemos tenido la experiencia de habernos enfrentado a un vandalismo y no tener rápida respuesta de la policía, entendemos la importancia que es tener este tipo de equipo para que nos ayude. Entonces, yo les animaría a decir que sí por el dron, por muchas razones, y porque justamente lo que dijo la compañera Marina, necesitamos mucha ayuda y somos más víctimas de muchos crímenes en la comunidad, y que por falta de respuesta y que por falta de personal en la policía, pues no llegan a responder a tiempo. Entonces, sí, y como dijo, quizá no pague los bomberos la mitad, pero pues las veces que lo usen hay que rentarlo para sacarle lo que cuestan los 150,000. Entonces, consideren en apoyar la propuesta del dron, porque de verdad en nuestra comunidad, y los que hemos vivido en la comunidad y los que hemos sido víctimas de todo esto, de este vandalismo y de la falta de respuesta rápida, sabemos la importancia de contar con este tipo de equipo. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Crispa, and I'm a resident of the community in Canal. But tonight I am speaking for myself. I do think as well that security is important for our community, and really only those of us who have firsthand experience of being victims of things like vandalism understand how important it is to have a quick response time from the police department. So considering that, I also think that it would be a good idea. I think, yes, maybe using drones for a faster response time could be beneficial. I agree with like what Marina was saying, especially people in our community could benefit from something like that, as well as with what she said with the fire department. Now, I do say that maybe them paying half is a little much, especially if they're not going to use it as much as PD is. But if they did pay a percentage for the time that they did use it, almost as if though they were renting it out when they needed it could be something to be considered. I just ask that you consider supporting this initiative for the drones, because again, those of us who know firsthand what it's like to be victims of vandalism understand how important it is to have a faster response time from the police department. So I do ask you guys to consider this and to approve moving forward with drones.
Thank you.
Buenas noches a todos y antes que nada, muchas gracias por dar esta presentación y a hacerlo abierto al público para todos estar enterados de esto, ¿verdad? Pero yo estoy de acuerdo en que se lleve a cabo esto de los drones porque muchos no están de acuerdo con las personas que he platicado, no están de acuerdo, pero yo sí estoy de acuerdo en que se lleve a cabo esto porque sabemos que hay muchas cosas que pasan, tanto como adolescentes fumando o tomando en las calles. O también vemos personas que andan quemando llanta en las calles y eso no debe estar pasando. Cuando la policía llega, ya ellos se han ido, rápido corren. Y no es que la policía llegue tarde, simplemente que pues el tiempo a veces en llegar, pues no es posible llegar tan rápido, más cuando hay tráfico también. Entonces, pues yo sí estoy de acuerdo en que se lleve a cabo esto y sí, eh, las personas, si vemos gente quemando llanta, pues hacerles llegar una multa para que, pues, tenemos que enforzar un poquito más la ley en estos casos para que seamos más seguros en nuestra comunidad. Todos los que estamos aquí presentes, todos abogamos y abogaríamos porque haya una comunidad más segura y limpia de crímenes. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you all for your presentation and for the opportunity that we as the public have to hear it, presentation as well. I do agree. I know that many don't, even those that I've spoken with about the issue of the drones, but I do agree that I think it could be beneficial. There are a lot of things that happen a lot of times out in the streets, and sometimes police just can't respond quick enough. You know, you might have people drinking out in public, smoking, using drugs out on public, or especially driving recklessly, driving too fast in our streets, and you know, it's a real danger. And you know, it's not that police department is too slow to respond. Maybe there's, for whatever reason, it might take the length of time that it does take. But I do think that with the use of drones, you know, it might be beneficial, so that these things could get caught perhaps in a faster way, especially those who are driving recklessly down our streets. Maybe it'll help so that they could get seen and caught in a quicker fashion, so that way they can receive fines for driving in such a way. So I do ask you as a council to move forward with implementing this.
Thank you.
Buenas tardes a todos. Gracias por esta oportunidad. Mi nombre es Aurelia Vargas. Yo he vivido por muchos años en el área de Canal. Quiero compartirles que soy líder de Voces de Canal. Sé las necesidades que tiene la comunidad porque vivo ahí. Escucho los comentarios de mi comunidad, la preocupación. Si me pongo a decirles todas las necesidades que tenemos en nuestra comunidad, no me alcanzarían los 2 minutos. Pero una de esas preocupaciones es la seguridad, la inseguridad que tenemos en la comunidad de Canal. Por eso hoy estoy aquí para abogar por el dron, que eso ayudaría mucho a reducir la delincuencia y los crímenes. Queremos tener una comunidad muy segura, que los niños y jóvenes estén seguros y que caminemos libremente. Por eso yo estoy aquí para apoyar al teniente a este plan, a este proyecto, porque creo que esto beneficiaría mucho a la comunidad. Sé que muchos no están de acuerdo, pero es lo mismo que está pasando con las cámaras FLOC que pusieron hace años y que han ayudado mucho a reducir el crimen y el robo de autos y el robo de muchas cosas en la comunidad. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you as well for this presentation. My name is Aurelia Vargas, and I am a member of the community of Canal. I also serve as a leader for the group Voces de Canal. And I know, because I hear and I've spoken with many members of the community, there are different worries and concerns about safety and security in the community. There's so many things that I could comment on the subject, but unfortunately 2 minutes would not be enough time to cover it all. So again, we as well are looking for a safer and more secure community, and I do think that drones could help reduce crime in this aspect. I as well know that there are a lot of people who aren't in agreement with this, but I do think that it would be beneficial. It would help to establish a safer environment, a more secure environment, one where we can walk down the street with no worries. I know that in the past, a lot of people had reservations about implementing street cameras. But I, for one, think that it helped a lot, especially in my neighborhood and in my community, by lowering the incidence of car theft, and so I think that this could help make a more secure community. And I do agree with a lot of what the lieutenant was saying in this regard. So I do ask, and I support the idea, and ask you guys as well to move forward with this with this project.
Thank you.
Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Irene de León y soy líder en Voces de Canal. Trabajo en la comunidad de Canal y he vivido ahí un tiempo antes. Estoy aquí para apoyar el sistema de drones para que el departamento de policía tenga el equipo necesario para responder con mayor rapidez y precisión. Quiero comentarles que en el año 2020 yo fui testigo de un incidente que pasó enfrente de los apartamentos 400 donde yo estaba viviendo, donde un joven apuñaló a otro y lo dejó tirado ahí en la orilla de la calle y huyó. Y unos minutos después pasó una camioneta blanca y recogió al herido y también se fueron. Cuando llegó la policía no encontraron a nadie, solamente las manchas de sangre que estaban en el piso. Y es así como los crímenes o los incidentes duran más en resolverse porque no han podido llegar a tiempo. Y entendemos que muchas veces no están a tiempo porque o están atendiendo otros accidentes o problemas, o el tráfico también es un poco difícil, pero con los drones consideramos que el tiempo de respuesta va a ser más rápido, y al menos cuando lleguen, y si no encuentran a nadie, van a tener una evidencia de lo que pasó y van a saber qué personas buscar o lo que estaba sucediendo en ese momento. Entonces, les pido que por favor consideren la posibilidad de aprobar el sistema de drones para que nuestra comunidad tenga más seguridad y puedan resolverse los incidentes con mayor precisión. Ese es mi comentario. Muchas gracias.
Gracias. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Irene de León, and I also am a member of Voces de Canal, and I was a resident for many years in the Canal area. And I do also support the use of drones to establish a more secure and safe community. I'd quickly like to tell you about an incident that I witnessed back in 2020, right in front of the 400 building, where a person stabbed another person and left them lying on the curb. They left, a white truck came, picked up the victim, and left the scene as well. So that when the police arrived, all that was left were just bloodstains on the floor. This obviously makes resolving cases like this a lot lengthier and a lot harder. And we understand that it's not always the police department's fault in the length of time that it takes them to respond to something. They could very well be responding to something else or taking care of different matters, or it could be a question of traffic or whatever the case may be. But I think that drones could help improve this, because in that particular case that I mentioned before, if there had been maybe a drone present, it would have recorded people leaving the scene. And even though there might not have been anybody there when police responded, they would have recordings of what had happened. They'd be able to more quickly and precisely resolve these matters. So I too ask you guys to support this initiative as well, and implement drones to help create a safer and more secure community where incidents are responded to in a faster and more precise fashion.
Thank you.
Buenas noches a todos. Gracias por el espacio que nos brindan. Es primera vez que veo al grupo de PACT juntos. Tengo el gusto de conocer a algunas personas solamente, pero me da gusto conocer al resto. Gracias por su presentación, estuvo excelente. Yo apoyo que traigan a los drones a nuestra comunidad, ya que yo he tenido también algunas experiencias, he llamado a la policía y a veces han tardado, a veces definitivamente no llegan. Entonces yo entiendo que están cortos de personal, entonces esto ayudaría mucho a que llegaran por lo menos los drones para ver en qué situación estamos pasando en la comunidad. Tenemos muchos problemas en la comunidad y soy parte de Voces del Canal. Creo que no dije mi nombre es Cruz Vargas. Soy parte de Voces del Canal y muchas personas de nuestra comunidad se acercan a nosotros y nos comentan los problemas que ellos tienen. Entonces, tratamos de explicar por lo poco que tenemos con comunicación con la policía, con el departamento de policía. Tratamos de explicarle qué es lo que pasa. Están cortos de personal, entonces eso provoca a que no lleguen. Pero pues yo apoyo a que traigan los drones a la comunidad. Sé que hay muchas personas que van a estar en contra, pero tal vez son personas que no están viviendo en la comunidad y no viven los problemas que estamos viviendo. Gracias.
Thank you.
Thank you for this opportunity to be before you and for this presentation. This is the first time that I am personally before you as a PAC committee. I do know some of you members personally, but this is the first time I've been able to be before all of you. I too support this initiative for drones because of my personal experiences. I've also have been a victim of crime in the past, where I've had to call the police, looking for protection and for them to respond to an incident. And it has taken them a little bit of time to get there. I do understand that many times you are short on staff, so it isn't always possible to reach everywhere that you need to when you need to. As well, I am a member of Voces del Canal. I'm sorry if I didn't introduce myself to begin with. My name is Cruz Vargas. And as a member of Voces del Canal, I do speak with a lot of members of the community who tell me a lot of their problems and their concerns. And we do, when we talk to them and listen to them, try to explain that a lot of times it's a question of the police department sometimes being short-staffed on why it is that it takes them, seemingly longer to respond. But I think that with the use of drones, this could really help to reduce response time and help them respond to the community in a quicker manner and help the community become a safer and more secure space. So I ask you as well, that as a committee, you consider moving forward with implementing the use of drones.
Thank you.
Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Anabel. Esta noche estoy aquí para apoyar al jefe de la policía. Ellos han hecho un gran trabajo. Estuvimos aquí apoyándoles cuando pusieron las cámaras por primera vez. No fue fácil, pero lo logramos. Esta noche estoy aquí para apoyarlos con los drones. Es importante para nosotros que esto sea aprobado. Ha pasado muchas cosas, ya las compañeras ya lo repitieron. Yo lo que quiero decir es de que yo he visto muchos drones alrededor y nadie pone complaint. Y ahora que la policía quiere traer los drones para nuestra seguridad, están poniendo complaints, que nuestra privacidad, que hay muchas excusas. Pero yo apoyo a la policía, que los drones sean bienvenidos. También sé que la tecnología cada vez está avanzando más y tenemos que ir avanzando nosotros también. Lo hacemos por nuestra comunidad, lo hacemos por el futuro de nuestros niños, que cada día tiene que ir mejorando nuestra comunidad, nuestra ciudad en donde vivimos. Y mi apoyo en esta noche es que vamos a luchar y vamos a ganar que los drones vengan. Eso es todo. Gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anabel, and I am here to express my support to the chief of police in implementing the use of drones. I remember back when they started implementing the use of cameras, there were a lot of people that weren't in support of it. I thought it helped a lot, and now I am here in support of drones. I think they could be very helpful to the community. Right now, I see a lot of drones fly through the air, and nobody seems to mind. Nobody seems to make an issue of it. But now all of a sudden, because the police department wants to start implementing drones, all of a sudden now it's a violation of privacy. Now it's a big deal. Well, I myself support it. I think that it could be beneficial. I think that the technology will continue to improve. Technology continues to improve, and we as community need to continue to improve with it. We do these things so that we can create a safer and better environment in future for ourselves, but more importantly for our children. So again, I want to express my support for the use of drones and implore that you guys move forward also with implementing the use of it.
Thank you. Jared?
Muy buenas tardes a todos. Yo vengo por primera vez aquí y me dio mucho gusto lo que del dron, porque yo también mi nombre es Rosa García y también vivo en el área de Canal y tengo mucho tiempo de vivir ahí desde que vine y sí es muy difícil la situación de la seguridad porque a veces necesita uno de la policía por cualquier cosa que pasa, porque mucha gente con volumen de sus carros o por los muchachos de vandalismo sale a veces uno a caminar. Entonces yo pienso que con el dron es más posible que que la gente tenga más cuidado de no andar haciendo vandalismo en las calles, para la seguridad de todos. Porque yo tengo un niño y él no sale a caminar por lo mismo, por el vandalismo que hay. Y pienso que con el dron va a haber más oportunidad de que uno tenga más seguridad, porque no es que los policías no quieran ir al lugar, sino que por el tiempo y el dron, como estaban diciendo, es más fácil para llegar a todos los lugares del área de Canal. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening. This is also my first time being here before all of you. My name is Rosa Garcia, and I am also a resident, a longtime resident in the community of Canal. And as people have said before, security is a very important topic to us. There's a lot of incidents that happen related to vandalism and other things that go on, and a lot of times police just aren't able to get there on time to catch a lot of people in the act. We know that they have a lot going on, so I think the use of drones could create more security, where they can maybe catch people in the act, or maybe knowing that the use of drones is out there, it might deter people or make them think twice before committing acts of vandalism or things related to it. We want to be able to feel safe enough to walk outside on our streets. My son right now doesn't go outside much to walk outside because he doesn't feel safe. But if we could use something like drones to help improve the situation, make our community safer, I think it would be great for all of us.
Thank you. You got more?
Buenas noches a todos. Mi nombre es Gloria Barrios. Pertenezco también a Voces de Canal. También pertenezco a un grupo que se llama Nuestro Canal, Nuestro Futuro, y también he voluntariado en la comunidad. Y como decían las compañeras, ¿verdad? Mucha gente de la comunidad se acerca a nosotros, nos cuentan todos los problemas que, ¿verdad?, la comunidad tiene, y la verdad uno se queda sorprendido con todo lo que la comunidad pasa. Y yo pienso, ¿verdad?, que con los drones pues nos ayudaría, y por eso vengo para apoyar, ¿verdad?, a que los pongan, porque así como las cámaras que han puesto han ayudado, ¿verdad?, a que no roben carros, a que no haya más robos, lo detectan. Entonces pienso que también esto sería una gran seguridad para la comunidad. Yo también asisto a una iglesia evangélica y yo he caminado por la comunidad, a veces he caminado a las 12 de la noche y he visto mucho vandalismo, ¿verdad?, en la comunidad. A veces hay jóvenes ahí tomando y a veces pues empiezan a pelear. La comunidad ya no es seguro ni para nosotros, ni tantos como para los demás jóvenes o los niños pequeños, ya no es seguro. Y eso es todo. Muchísimas gracias para todos, ¿verdad?, por esta oportunidad que nos dan de abogar por nuestra comunidad. Gracias a todos.
Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Gloria Vargas, and I too am a member of Voces de Canal. I am also a member of Our Canal, Our Future. And I too have the opportunity to speak to a lot of members of the community who express their concerns and their worries. And there's a lot of times where I'm very surprised to hear what they tell me about the things that they go through. And so I'm here as well to express my support for the use of drones. I think that if we started using drones, it might really help to decrease the number of stolen cars, decrease the number of incidents related to vandalism. as well as being a part of these community organizations, I also attend a church, and there are many times when I might be attending either church or church-related activities, and I'm walking home very late at night, sometimes even around midnight. And yes, the streets feel very unsafe. I might be walking and see young people loitering in the streets, drinking, and a lot of times they're the ones who are perpetrating vandalism, or maybe fighting in the streets. And the use of drones might help to eliminate a lot of these things. So I'm here to advocate for myself and for the community, and I thank you for this opportunity to be able to advocate for myself and others in saying that I think that the implementation of drones could be very useful to help make our community a safer place.
Thank you.
Buenas noches.
Hi.
Mi nombre es Floridalma Rodas y pues yo vengo a abogar también para que les cedan la oportunidad acá a los policías para que ellos puedan utilizar el Trump. Y en realidad es muy buena idea y felicidades a ellos porque también he escuchado en la presentación de que se ha logrado ya muchos objetivos. Por ejemplo, encontrar al ancianito que se había perdido. Yo lo escuché cuando se perdió, pero ya no escuché cuando lo encontraron. Pero sí, en realidad va a ser una buena ayuda para la policía y para una mejor seguridad también en nuestra comunidad. Muchas gracias.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Floridal Rodas, and I too am here to support our police department in the use of drones. I want to congratulate you already on some of the good work that you have already been able to achieve with the use of them. For example, in being able to find that elderly man who had gone missing. I remember hearing about this elderly person being missing. I did not know that they were found. So I'm very happy to hear that. So I as well think that the use of drones could be something very beneficial for everybody. So I do support the use of it.
Thank you. Do we have any other comments? No? I'm gonna close. Thank you all. I'm gonna close public comments. I think with staff response to questions, I know there were two bundles of a lot of questions. Is it possible for the staff to get back to them? I wanna see how we can, try and answer all the questions. I know you guys got their contacts. They can please send it to them. We want to make sure that we get back to you with those answers to a lot of those questions. Because I do want to move forward with, is that okay with the staff?
Yeah, if you want, I think it was the original speaker, you wanted us to address all of those questions?
Yeah, so both of them, they have a lot of questions. And I wanted to make sure that maybe if they can send it to you guys and, we'll
Yeah,
reach out to them.
I don't know if we have the contact info, but we'll produce a response to all of the questions asked, and we will relay it to the committee and to the members of the public that asked the questions.
Okay, yeah.
Chair, if I could just add, I think a lot of those questions would be pertinent to our next follow-up with RIPA, and it would be a great add-on to it.
Sorry.
Yes,
My apologies.
yeah, Salma.
Are we putting forth a motion tonight in support of the presentation or going forward, or are we just receiving the report?
Yeah, we'll get to that. I just wanted to make sure because the next one was the staff response to some of the questions from the public. So I just want to make sure that get back to them because there was a lot of questions. I want to make sure that we, address those. And I know one of this, yeah?
I just wanted to, through the chair to Chief Spiller or Lieutenant Eberly, just to confirm that one of the questions we may be able to answer tonight is about facial recognition technology. And if you could speak to that, that may be something we might be able to speak to now, or would that be something that you would need to follow up on?
I could speak to a couple of them very quickly, but I do want to add, we will go back through the recording.
Yeah.
And get every single question. If people have more questions, it would be outside of public comment. I'd have to get with the city clerk to see if that would be something that,
Yeah,
we
and-
didn't get, but we will answer all the questions. Facial recognition, it doesn't work because we don't have facial recognition on the drone. So there's that. Where have they been deployed over the past 5 years? You have that. And remember, this is military equipment. So every time we use the drone, every year we will report out on it. And so for the past 5 years, we can go back for the years that we have been reporting on AB 481. You could see every time, and you could see the location, and they're all over.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure that because I understand the person who asked those questions is not here. So I wanted them to,
Oh, okay.
to get the response from us, because she's not present right now. Yeah.
And through the chair, understood. The other thing worth mentioning as well is that this report will be presented to the council. And so some of the information, some of the questions may be informative, not just to the member or the public that asked the questions this evening, but to members that may be in attendance at the city council meeting as well. So we can also incorporate some of that information into the city council staff report.
Okay. Thank you.
Sorry, when is the council meeting? If you have the date so they can have it.
The city council.
The city council meeting, so I would, the second meeting in May, June 2nd. Okay, my apologies.
6 p.m.
So 6 p.m., June 2nd, be there, be square. That's when the item will be heard. Of course.
La junta donde esto va a ser presentado al concilio de la ciudad va a ser en junio 2 a las 6 de la tarde. Por si quieren venir aquí, no. Por si quieren, no. Vengan aquí, así ellos también escuchan lo que ustedes quieren.
Sí. Bueno. Thank you.
So the city council meeting will be held on. I'm so sorry. Please repeat the date of the meeting.
We got this.
Okay.
Yeah. So now.
Andrew,
Okay.
it was already translated in English when the question was asked and answered in English. Thank you very much. I apologize for the confusion. The date was June 2nd, but you don't need to translate that again.
Okay, I'm sorry. My fault.
Okay, now I want to come back to comments from the committee members. I can go left to right, yeah? I know you can't wait to do it.
Lieutenant Everly, thank you for your presentation. You should present more. It was very clear. You took your time and it wasn't a bunch of information, but it was clear and you spoke on pros and cons. So I appreciate that transparency and just kind of letting us know. I also want to especially thank the Voices of Canal for being here, and also especially thank the people who've been victim of crime. We're here to serve San Rafael, especially those victims. So we want to hear from you. So when you go back to your communities, please, we'd like to hear from you, and also for everyone else who spoke. We have a technology, we have system that's aging. The current system is aging. Even our translator batteries is aging. So it's a clear sign we need to update ourselves. As much as, the technology is aging, our city is looking to grow. We have a lot of developments coming. We have the Northgate projects. They're building buildings that are better, more for affordable housing. We're trying to attract more businesses to San Rafael. We're trying to increase safety. We're trying to make San Rafael more up to date. Every time you introduce a new technology or new tools, there's pros and cons. But in my opinion, this is one of those that the pros outweighs the cons. This is something that the benefits, it's definitely presents itself as an opportunity for various reasons. I think for me, the biggest ones is being able to sit at these police oral hearings when we interview. It's hard to recruit staff. It's hard to make policing attractive these days. And I think it's a tool to have more safe policing. It's another tool to have additional safety tools for our community. I also feel that it might create less traffic having a police car trying to, with sirens, just less noise traffic. Even here, sitting here, we hear a bunch of sirens, so be less noise traffic. Sometimes just trying to go to downtown San Rafael, sending a drone, I think, is more ideal. People do complain about traffic. So I'm hoping this is one of those things. My warehouse is in the canal. It's in an area that's flood zone. So sea level rising is a huge concern. Two parts of San Rafael, especially the canal. I like the fact the fire department is in harmony on this project. So I think it'll be another tool to use during this issue of sea level rising that we're seeing. Also wildfires. I also just wanted to share a few more things before I hand it over. I also was kind of following what the report that you were saying and checking with some of our other jurisdictions. I wasn't fact checking you, but I'm just kind of making sure what you're saying, it matches here. So the Fremont Police really likes what they're using, and it just highlights what this department has implemented similar programs using drones to provide situational awareness to first responder. That's where they see like high rating. San Francisco police pursuit, and for when they do police pursuits, I imagine sending a bunch of police cars chasing someone, it never ends. Usually someone gets hurt either side. Also the Chula Vista department. So those are feedbacks that I'm seeing, and I'm just reading, just been also researching this leading up to this meeting, because I know we had a report a few months ago, and back then I was in favor of it. But now I've done more research since then to our meeting. I kind of echo the voices of Canal. I echo the community, what they're saying. I am in favor of the drones being used, and I just want to share my comments about what I'm thinking.
Thank you. We're just gonna keep going left.
Thank you very much. Thank you for coming. It was very moving to hear what you had to say. I think that Member Davidi has pretty much said it all. So instead of carrying on, I'll just say that I actually am in agreement with this purchase or lease, I guess. Thank you. Actually, I have one more thing to say. I'm sorry. When I was looking at the times in the report, when you specified the times that the drone was used, in my mind, I was actually picturing the officers who were responding instead of a drone. And it makes me very grateful that they're willing to go. So I couldn't not say how grateful we are for what you do.
Thank you.
Okay, my battery.
Oh, no.
Muchas gracias por su presentación a los dos, David Spiller y Scott. Tengo una pregunta de una de las personas que está aquí, que cómo sería, thank you. Si el dron solo tiene una batería o tiene repuesto, o esperarían hasta que se cargara la misma pila, y cuánto tarda en regresar el dron. Y quiero darle las gracias a Voces del Canal, que está presente, pero también quiero darle las gracias a la señora Marina. Los otros ya se fueron, pero gracias a otros grupos que están aquí también. Gracias por estar. Siempre esperábamos la presencia de ustedes. Siempre están invitados para que regresen a acompañarnos a esta junta tan interesante. No nada más porque van a poner el dron, sino que regresen. Si tienen ustedes algún problema en la comunidad, por favor vengan, háganosla saber, y nosotros podemos pedirle a la policía que les ayuden en situaciones de los problemas de nuestra comunidad. Le quiero dar las gracias a todos, muy buen trabajo. Me siento muy contenta porque ahora sí no estamos solitos nosotros, nos están apoyando. Bienvenidos sean todos y muchas gracias.
Thank you. Do you guys want me to translate that?
He's very grateful.
Thank you for your presentation to both of you. I did have a question. really quick. You said that I wanted to know how long was the lifespan of, or the charge of the battery? Does the battery have a replacement already ready? And if not, or if so, how long does the battery take to recharge? I also want to take this opportunity to thank you to a couple of groups, Voces de Canal, for being here. I know a lot of members have already left. Marina, thank you for being here. Your presence here is very much appreciated for joining us here today. Not only for this issue of implementing drones, but also continue to accompany us here. If you guys continue to have problems, talk to us, and if we can help you with this by talking to the police department, so that they are more aware of all of the problems that are going on throughout the community. I want to say good work to everybody, and I want to say how happy I am for everybody who has joined us here tonight. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you.
Chair Toglaki, I can answer the question that member Ruiz had. Yes,
It's for Cruz because
Oh.
she has this
for
question.
Ms.
Yeah.
Cruz, yes, it's a great question. Thank you for asking that. It's 42 minutes is the battery life as long as the drone can stay up in the air. And the company will supply us with 16 batteries, and the battery can be changed in 2 minutes. So in theory, by the time it gets through all of those batteries, we could always have it flying if we had a major disaster or emergency.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. Salam. You?
Having said that, I did have one question. In your report, it says that it changes its own battery. Does it change its own battery?
That was another big seller for us. So we don't have to touch it. It will come, land, swap it out in under 2 minutes and take off again.
Okay. The role of this committee, one of the roles of this committee is being responsive to the community. And it seems to me that the community has come with lots of support for having this drone first responder program. Not surveillance, because you said that clearly, not surveillance. And I heard some people were thinking about surveillance. It's for responding to your calls, responding to your needs as you provide them to the community, to the police officers or the fire department, not surveilling every afternoon to see if somebody is standing on a corner smoking pot or whatever. So in that regard, I think as this year is a year of action, and as you have presented the policy going forward, the policy as stated and the limitations clearly spelled out, which we will be following, that I think as an action item, if we should tonight, in response to the community, make a motion to support going forward. And so that can be recorded, that the Oversight Committee was in support of the proposal for purchasing or leasing 2 drones going forward. In addition, I love what she had to say about if it's going to be used by 2 agencies, then they should pay half. It should come out of half of their fire department's budget and half out of the police department's budget. It's all the same. It's the same pot. Oh, okay, it's the same pot. Well, then, no, but I like that idea because they would have access as frequently as you have access. So that's what I wanted to conclude with, saying that we should take a motion to support.
Thank you. I'm going to come back to that, but I wanted to finish with comments, and then I want to come back to that one. Yes. Any comments from you guys?
Only comment for me is I recommend that policy 606 is solidly in place, not in a draft status, prior to presentation to City Council. I would like to see that. I'm probably gonna say I'm not in favor of sharing a budgetary item. I don't want to see the bureaucracy of two departments having to pay for it, because if another department is paying for it, then they get a say on its use. And I'd rather just keep it in one bucket. I'm definitely in favor of this as a first responder, if we can keep to the commitment that this is not a surveillance tool, it's a first responding tool, I definitely support it. And I would support Member Locke's that we come to a unanimous consent on this one, and not just individual members' recommendations.
Okay, thank you.
My comments would be that I support having drones in place. I mean, most of the members already said the benefits. I've heard more benefits than negatives. So, yeah. Thank you for your presentation also.
And I think the same as my fellow members, that it was really good that we have so many members from the community, and we know that they are from a group Voces de Canal, but they work directly with the community. So I think the voice of the community has been like listened today. So I think I also support the implementation of the drones and the department. Thank you.
Cool. Thank you. Yeah. So before that, I just want to make quick comments. He's leaving, so I'm not going to thank him. He's fine.
He's switching seats in case you want to take a roll call vote on something.
I just wanted to say thank you to Voices of the Canal and everyone else who's here. Like I love the balance of yay and nay. I love people who come forward with their true response to this issue. And that's why we're here. We want to see both sides. I support the idea, but I also want to be careful with how we're going to use it and when we're using it, to what extent we're going to use that drone. So I'm grateful to be in your presence as well, to hear both sides, because we want to see the real response from the folks in the communities before we move forward with this. But with that, I want to come back to, Member Locks, do you want to make a motion on that?
Oh, that's right, because you got
Oh,
may I?
yes.
Thank you. I move that the committee recommend to the city council the approval and lease contract of using a drone.
So that our committee supports.
That's what I said, the committee.
That a committee
That
support.
the committee in unison agrees.
Okay. I'm going to come back to Scott. Sorry, any second.
I'll second that.
Okay, then I'm going to go back to voting.
Thank you,
Scott.
Chair Tokolahi. I will take a roll call vote. Member Alm,
Aye.
Member Alvarez,
Aye.
Member Kamina, Member Ruiz,
Aye.
Vice Chair Davidi,
Aye.
Chair Tokolahi,
Yes,
and alternate member Valdez.
Aye.
Thank you.
thank you. Okay. Thank you, guys. I don't think we have any staff liaison report tonight.
Just very
Yes.
quickly, the staff is going to report on the first quarter complaints. We promised that we do it once a quarter. We've had 3. They were
Okay.
all unfounded and none were reportable for serious misconduct. I also just want to remind everybody to sign up if you have not for a ride-along. And that is coming very shortly. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. With committee reports, I would like to ask everyone to bring those reports, double up with your next month to the next meeting. Bring those reports to the next meeting. Or,
I cannot agree with that because I really have an announcement to make.
okay,
I'll make
that's fine.
I'll make the one and not the others.
It's fine. Yeah.
The one that I want to, which I think is important for us, is that It's Saturday, April the 26th. And it's a discussion in Marin City called Policing, Friend or Foe. And the speakers will be Reverend Dr. Rondell Liggett, Tammy Edmondson, who's from, VM Free, and Pastor Earl Smith. So I really wanted to share that with all of you to know that that is happening, because we need to get the views of other communities and how policing culture works with them or doesn't work and so forth. And also because this lady is speaking. And then Saturday, the 19th, people need to be aware of, if you are aware of what's going on in the nation, that there should be a rally somewhere in San Rafael, I hope, but definitely at the Capitol. As a protest to what's going on in the administration and people being taken off the streets and sent away and other ills. And that the April 5th rally that I spoke about the drones, that rally was the largest that we've had in our community, San Rafael. It had 5,000 people, and that had drones flying over, so maybe that helped with the count. I don't know.
It was very peaceful.
It was 100% peaceful, 100%, and that's what's been going forward, and that's what we like. Thank you.
Cool, thank you. All right, meeting adjourned at 8:30.
No.
I think I'm sorry, but we were here until 9 o'clock last time, and I think that people should be able to give their comments, sorry. But you're the chair.
You know what? Let's do it. Yeah. Does anybody else have anything to report? Yeah?
In response to some of the things that were mentioned last week, although I'm going to talk more about it at the next meeting because it's about RIPA, I actually had a meeting with the Mill Valley Police Chief and I had a meeting with the Tiburon Police Chief just to talk about the topics that were made. And it was very helpful. And actually, I just dropped something that was, I wanted to congratulate that was what I really wanted to say. Congratulations to you for graduating from you're right here in this, graduating from the academy.
Yeah.
I believe.
Wow.
So I wanted to say congratulations,
Thank you.
sir. And also yes. Otherwise, I wouldn't have been so pushy about the time. And
You're fine.
just finally to say that I actually confirmed that, well, it was said that Camp Chance doesn't exist anymore. I've confirmed that it does. And I'm done. Thank you, Chair.
Yeah, thank you.
Okay.
I'll say quickly, I just want to say the city of San Rafael has recognized Persian New Year as a holiday, so thank you to the city. There's a picnic that happens every year. I saw police chief there and a few of the other police officers. Thanks for being there and just interacting with the community. I also had coffee with the chief and Lieutenant Early this morning, and I encourage others to meet with the chief and share your ideas and stuff. So just want to say thank you. That's my report.
Thank you. Alan?
Chair, only one thing to report. The other week I did participate in an oral board.
I had a question for Member Locks. Where is it gonna be held, the policing friend or foe?
Oh, the one in Marin City?
River to Marin City?
Yeah.
It's Marin City.
It's Marin City.
Yes. It's
Yeah.
On the 26th in Marin City. There's a dinner before at 5, but the presentation starts at 7 p.m. with these 3 speakers. And it's at the St. Andrew's Presbyterian Church at 101 Donahue Street in Marin City. So when you exit and you get into the left lane, you exit, turn right and get into the left lane immediately, the church is right there.
Fine.
Easy peasy, easy peasy.
No? Anything else? No? There you go. Sorry, guys. Meeting adjourned at 8:33. Thank you, guys. It is warm.
We should always listen to the
Because the door's
community.
closed.
Oh, okay. All right.